Hey guys, it's Jess and welcome to another video on my YouTube channel, A Card Day's Work. Today we're going to be jumping into the latest craze to hit the card making community, stamping foam. Now, if you're like me, you just went, what the heck is stamping foam and do I really need another tool or thing in my craft room right now? Let's take a look at this new product from Simon Hurley Create and Ranger, and by the end of this video, you can decide if this new crafting craze is right for you. The package of stamping foam comes with 4 blocks of foam in a package for $4.99. That is crazy. I assumed that these were not reusable, but they are. You can definitely use them over and over again. Stick with me through the video and I'll show you exactly how to do it. To use the stamping foam, you're going to start by heating it up with a heat tool. I'm using my Wagner heat tool, and I've also tried this with the Ranger Heat It tool, and both work perfectly. Once you've heated it for 10 to 15 seconds, you're going to go ahead and press the foam into whatever material you want to transfer the texture from, and then apply ink of your chosen color. When I first saw Simon demonstrate the stamping foam, my first thought was to use it with this new slouchy beanie that I bought. I thought the texture of the beanie would be perfect to test this out, and I was not disappointed. Look how cool that is. You can get so many different effects with this technique, and I am so excited to keep experimenting with it. So you can see there that after I stamped it one time, I did go ahead and spray it with a little bit of water, and then I got a sort of watercolor or loose version of my print. You can definitely do this to get more out of the ink so that you're not just wiping it all off, but it comes off very easily once you wipe it down with a cloth. Now you can see here that all I've done is heat it again, and that same foam that just had that really intricate texture from my beanie is now back to being completely smooth and ready to go for another use. Now to move on to my next technique, I was going to try this with the rubber stamps from Simon's line. Now, I don't think I heated this one quite long enough. I was a little impatient, so my impression is not quite as deep as I would have liked. However, I still liked the result of this, and this is something worth noting, that you can play around and get different variations on your stamps based on how much you've heated the block beforehand, to see how well it will take the stamped image. So if you want kind of a lighter image, you can do less heating and you won't get quite as much of the impression there. But if you heat it for the whole 10 to 15 seconds, you should be able to get a nice deep impression with the rubber stamps. It is also worth noting that certain styles of stamps work better on the stamping block, at least in my opinion or in my experience, than others. So if you have one that has a lot of open spaces and it has nice, clear, crisp lines, those ones tend to work very nicely just because they are easier to transfer the pattern rather than something that has kind of a variation of depths or doesn't have a lot of open spaces for you to really capture that negative image that you're getting of your stamp. Now you can see here that I was just testing this out with different colors, and then again I did the same thing with the water there, spritzing it on and then stamping again, and I actually use these panels later to make cards at the end of the video. Now you can see here again, I wiped it clean with my cloth that I keep on hand, and as I'm heating it, you see that design completely disappear. My stamping block is smooth again, and it's ready for the next one. Now I'm going to go ahead and heat my stamping block up again. This foam is very sturdy. I've used it a ton of times already, and I haven't had any issues with the quality or anything changing with it. I'm still on my first one, although I could use multiple at a time, but I kind of wanted to keep using it for durability's sake and see how it lasted. Now you can see here I'm trying this out with a stencil. It does work. In my opinion, it's not quite as good as using it with a rubber stamp, only because it's such a thin item that you have and you're not really able to push down too hard to get a nice deep impression. So this doesn't work quite as crisply as the stamped image would, but I still think the effect is really cool. I used this panel in a card later as well, and I just stamped it 3 times in a row without doing any water on it, so you can see like a second generation stamp and even a third generation stamp of this. Now this is a really cool way to make panels for slimline cards, which is what I used the blue one for later on in the video. But it kind of has that effect, sort of like paint chips. And I know that those have been really popular for using in cards. So that's kind of a cool way to do it yourself. Now, this is by far my favorite way to use it. I know I used a stamped image earlier from a rubber stamp, but this is one of my favorite background stamps from Simon Hurley's line. And as you can see here, it has more open space, very crisp lines. So you're really getting to see that texture in the stamped image here once we stamp it onto our cardstock. Now, just for reference, so you can see the difference, I stamped with the stamping foam, which is the inverse or reverse image, and then now I'm stamping it on just the stamp, so you can see what the difference is between just stamping and then using the stamping foam. So you get two completely different looks. You get the stamped image and then what is the negative space of your stamped image. And I think having that option is so super cool. Now, the other thing that's awesome about the stamping foam is that you can see here on my panels, I have a perfect crisp white border around the outside, and I didn't have to do any matting. I didn't have to use any additional paper, and I am here for that, you guys. Whatever can make my card making simpler, faster, easier, I am definitely for it. Now, that one there with the pink and the green and the blue, I absolutely love so much. I love the different colors there, and you could really overlap them and get more of a rainbow effect if you wanted to do that. Now I'm ready to go ahead and put my cards together because I have a little collection of backgrounds ready to go. So I decided I was going to stamp out a bunch of sentiments from one of Simon's new sets. This is an adorable set that is full of cat related images. It's called Cool Cats, and I stamped a bunch of sentiments from that on some cardstock in different colors. I used my mini Misty and I just repeated this on a few different colors of cardstocks so that I would have a bunch to match whenever I needed it. I did have a bunch of these left over and I stuck them in the back of my stamp storage envelope. That way the next time I go to make a card, I already have sentiment strips cut out and ready to go. Once I was done stamping all of my sentiments in different colors, I trimmed them down with my paper trimmer and then set them aside so that they would be ready to use when I was ready to go ahead and assemble my cards. I decided to use the coordinating images from Cool Cats to complete my cards here since I was using all those cat themed sentiments, and I went ahead and stamped out a bunch of the cute little cats, colored them with alcohol markers, and then went ahead and cut them out with a pair of sharp scissors for fussy cutting. I'll have all my supplies linked down below in case you guys are interested in checking out anything that I have used for today's video. I'm going to go ahead and pop a little bit of music on while I finish assembling these cards, and I'll see you in just a minute to finish off the video. All right, our cards are just about finished, and now that we're at the end of the video, are you into stamping foam? Is this something you can see yourself using in your craft room? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think and what techniques you're going to try if you do get the stamping foam. I'll definitely have more ideas and videos coming your way, so don't forget to click subscribe and give the video a thumbs up if you would like to see more content like this. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, guys, and I'll see you in another video really soon.